Welcome to our program on Kardec Radio.
Hello, everybody. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, Fayute, my Irish friends. Happy to have you here today. And today we do have a special guest, Fernanda Perini. She's from UK as a psychologist, and let's start our greetings today and allow Fernanda to introduce herself. Like Elsa said, it's lovely when we see people introduce themselves with their own words. Okay, Fernanda, welcome. Thank you.
Hi, Stevan. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Elsa, for inviting me to be here. Thank you, Charles, you, Silvia, for having me here today. Like you said, my name is Fernanda. I live in UK, in London. I live here for about 15 years now. I'm a psychologist, and also I was born in the Spiritist movement, and I've been involved in here in UK since I came here 15 years ago. And I worked in with bars, with the fraternity as well, in the Spiritist education for youth and for children as well. And I'm very glad to be here today.
Wonderful,
Thank
Vanessa.
And Elsa, please keep going the queue.
Say again, Stevan.
Sorry?
No, keep going. Yeah.
Oh.
No, Elsa will introduce herself as usual,
Okay.
in our greetings. But thank you, Fernanda, and I'm
You
pretty
are
sure
welcome.
we will have a wonderful insights from your perspective.
Thank you.
So when I invited Fernanda, it's because I know Fernanda for so many years and her dedication to studies, psychology, and after that, the master degree and other things. I said, Fernanda, it's time for you to tell us, to tell the public these beautiful things that you are doing. And the topic today, controlling our emotions by acknowledging spirituality, is amazing because we need right now to understand how to acknowledge our spirituality, ourselves in the middle of everything in the world with controlling our emotions. And Fernanda can bring to us this amazing topic, and we can discuss later, and the public, our participants, our viewers, can prepare the questions, and we are here to learn with you as well. Welcome, everyone. Yeah, Stevan. So, okay, thank you.
Miss Gibbons, welcome.
Hello, thank you. I'm sorry, I didn't realize you have a different address every week. I'm not familiar with this, so I'm sorry. I'm here now. Good evening, everyone. May blessings of God be upon all of us and all those who are listening. Amen.
My turn. So, bonjour, bonsoir à tous. Merci d'être avec nous encore une fois ce soir avec notre invitée Fernanda Perini qui va nous parler donc de ce thème de contrôler nos émotions en reconnaissant la spiritualité. Thème extrêmement important et qui montre à quel point la vision spiritualiste change notre vision du monde, la vision de notre vie, le but de l'existence, etc. Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Happy to be here again with you and with your dear guest today, Fernanda Perini, who will talk to us about controlling our emotions by acknowledging spirituality, which is a very important theme linked to this spiritualist paradigm that is upcoming in the world and which is completely changing our vision of the life, of the purpose of life, and so on. So happy to be here again with you tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you all. As Charles mentioned here, today it's a very important topic. And Fernanda will talk, make the connections between controlling our emotions from the spiritualist side, how we need to approach, but how we need to control. Everything is shaking our head here. But before we go to this, I would like to welcome all your people who are here with us. We have here Guilherme Diaz. Olá, Guilherme. Our dear friend Munir. Good to have you here, Munir. Thank you. Marisa from Brazil as well. Thank you to have you here, Marisa. Thank you. Leah, my dear friend, thank you. Maria Eugenia and Edward, glad to have you here, my friends. Gabriele, thank you. And our Dr. Nadia, good to have you here, my dear, today. Today she couldn't join us. So, saying that, I will show a short video, which is kind of linked with today's conversation. And I'd like to ask you all to take this opportunity to think about your questions. Because today is the last show of the month. So last show of the month, we do have a special guest. And we need to get everything what is inside of Fernanda's head. We need to extract everything, So let's take this opportunity, okay? So let me put here the video, and we come back later with Fernanda introduction presentation.
We are in a vehicle. That vehicle is the body. So we can use a crude analogy to say that the body is a car. So here we are driving our car down the road. Before us, we have this great windshield where we can see everything that's ahead. But the problem is we often focus on what's on that small rear view mirror that has already happened, has already occurred. And when we have this ample vision in front of us, so we have to take our focus away from that small rear view mirror and look at what's ahead, what's awaiting us. And that's what prayer does. Prayer opens up this windshield of opportunities ahead of us. When we stop looking at what happened, how things happened, what caused them to be what they are, when we focus on what's to be and what can be, things change for us. Prayer is what brings us back to the right path. We often deviate from the path that we're supposed to take because we allow the things of this life, of this world, to consume us. And we distract ourselves from our true mission here in this world because of that. And if we've deviated too far from that path that we should take, we have to really focus on what are we doing that may be taking us out of that right path, that righteous path that will lead us to that new horizon. We have to sit down and reflect. We have to be at silence with ourselves and listen to the language of God, because the language of God is complete and total silence, the inner silence. Because oftentimes we are lost in an ocean of our own thoughts. And so we lose our way. We are unable to navigate through our own life because we're drowning in so many different thoughts. So what we have to do is we have to silence these thoughts. And in doing so, we are able to connect. It is more or less like a radio transmitter. If we're able to tune into the right frequency, we'll be able to receive that emission, that broadcast that comes from the one source, that one cosmic tower, which is the Father, our Father in heaven. And if we allow that frequency to penetrate deep within as the radio transmitters that we are, and we tune into that right radio station, we will feel at peace and ask for guidance. What should I do in this situation? Life is a funny way of showing us exactly what we need to do. And when we pray and we close our eyes and we say sincerely from the heart, Dear Lord, please help me, or your guardian angel, or even Jesus Christ, whomever you may believe in. It doesn't have to be overlong. It doesn't have to be beautiful. So we have to be able to just close our eyes and say thanks. Thanks for the things that we've been going through in this life, because everything is a blessing. And again, the prayer has to be simple. Dear Lord, please help me in this moment of trouble. Guide me so I may make the right decisions and the right choices. Let me be able to allow me to pay attention and be able to listen to the guidance that's coming from you, the advice that's coming from you, because oftentimes in life, there are intermediaries whom we call guardian angels. And those guardian angels can be even our own friends, family members, who somehow, as an intermediary of the Father, they give us and provide us the answer that we need, that we're looking for. They provide us the guidance that we need in order to make the right decision. So we have to have our hearts open and ready to receive these blessings, because if we're proud enough, or too proud, in thinking that we can control everything and do everything our own way, we're probably not going to succeed. And we have to do what Mother Teresa said in an interview when somebody asked her, how do you pray? How do you talk to God? And she said, well, I don't talk, I just listen. And then they asked, well, what does God say to you? And she says, well, God doesn't say anything, he just listens. And this is the example that we need to follow. Do the same thing. Sit there and listen.
Wonderful. This is wonderful and a good start for our discussion today. So, Fernanda, it's you, my dear friend.
Okay.
And we'll be here. If you need us, just
Okay.
raise up your hand and we'll be here. Okay? Thank you very much.
You are welcome. Yeah, like Stevan said, this video is really something that we are going to talk about, and I just would like to talk about a little bit about the neuroscience, explaining a little bit about our thoughts, because when we think about our emotions, we are talking about our thoughts before, because the neuroscience has explained that our emotions, thoughts, and feelings are all connected. And when and the thoughts is what will lead how we behave. So if you are with negative thoughts, we will be cultivating negative emotions and we will feel in a negative way. And when we talk about spirituality, Kardec has also shown us that our thoughts can influence the way also we feel. According to Kardec, our minds has about 3/4 of thoughts, which they are not our thoughts. They are from other minds. And this is because our mind is expansive. What we thought, what you think, what you feel, and all the emotions we have, we can radiate this through what we call aura. And this stays in the atmosphere. So we have this ability to connect with other people's feelings, other people's emotions, with also the spirits as well. So then the thoughts play a very important role in our emotions. And by acknowledging the spirituality, we can be able to change this, the way we behave, because we cannot change our feelings, but we can change our thoughts. So this is the science has proved to us. And when we studied the Kardec's teachings, we can understand this very well as well. So this is what we saw in the video is like we can only have control of our emotions by stopping, being the present moment, and listen and to God. So when we do this, we are just looking inside ourselves instead of what is outside. So I think it's by controlling our emotions is essential to have this connection to the spiritual world, and we just can find it when we start practicing to be with ourselves. And we can do this just by being in silence and practicing to meditate. And science has shown this in, like, when we in psychology, when we are working with people that have some emotional problems, even psychic problems, the first thing we try to teach them to meditate. Even they don't understand the spirituality, they don't believe it, but when they start practicing, we can see that something starts changing. They can improve, that we can see that they start having improvement on their treatment. And this is, I think, the most important thing we need to acknowledge, about when we talk about emotions, having control of emotions. It's the first step, is starting having these moments, to be in the present moment. Because when we start to be in the present moment, we don't think about the past, we don't think about what is going to come, and we can open a space to connect to this, to get to know ourselves and work this connection with us, and listen to God. What we were just seeing the video. And then God will just listen to us. And when we're starting this, we are developing our intuition, which is our sixth sense. We have five senses, and we have this other sense, which we don't know, like most of people are not aware about it, but we have it. It is an organic thing in our brain, and we can have access to this sense, which is our pineal gland. And the more we practice to be in the present, to meditate, we will having this, we start using this sense and having this connection with the spiritual world. And we need to also, like when we say we have this connection, we have this mind which can expansive, that we can irradiate all the feelings, the thoughts. We can also attract them as well. And when we, like Buddha said, you and your world are composed by your thoughts. The wise man controls his thoughts. So when we can just control the thoughts by having this practice to be connecting to this true selves, by having acknowledging spirituality.
Can I have a question?
Yes.
Ready? No, you can continue. So
No, you can send them.
I was thinking about some people that they ask about fraternal assistance in our spiritist group, okay, spiritist center, and normally they come and tell about how much they are afraid of life, afraid of take decisions, afraid of even thinking properly. They are afraid. There are only two cases, but two cases for me is something that is very important to talk about. So they ask help, ask help for the benefactors to help them because they want to make a decision. If they don't know how to make a decision, if they feel themselves so embraced in turmoil, and normally they put in the other people's shoulders their fails. When they falling down with other things in life, it's not their problems, it's always other people's problems. So they are not controlling emotions properly. They are only shouting. They have, of course, not time to talk about God or even don't accept the spirituality. How can our spiritist center help them in this situation in order to really to make them they go to a psychologist or counselor, but to help them around spirituality that you can recommend? Perhaps here we have people as well in this situation, afraid of everything and putting other people's problems is not my problems.
Yeah, when we, like I said, when we are attached to these negative emotions, we start having all these feelings of failure. We have all insecurities. But this is because we are working on this negative bias. We are working on this negative thoughts program that we all have. And what I recommend is we can tell them to start practicing meditation, to start practicing kindness, open to for listen, because I think is that when the person don't believe, I think is they need, if you tell them, so go and practice, and then they start seeing themselves how things will start changing. But it is more through having this contact with do something that to help others people, like do something that we don't want anything, any reward, anything back, and try to, as much as possible, listen and giving this way, telling them to do these activities, and not necessarily saying that you have to go and read the Bible or reading, the books. But this activities is of examples of that we can, access the spirituality. Is when we're doing something higher than ourselves. We are practicing this spirituality.
I have a question. May I?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. We know. not just in the spiritists, but we have the idea, if you want something, everything starts from our thoughts. Everything starts from me to acquire whatever I want. And I'm just interested in get to know if this has been proved in your study. Did you not did you, but could you see a study in which proves that, like, I want to change my job. You know, I start to create that environment surrounding me, which will attract a new position, and finally I will change.
Yes, there are many research showing that we can use our thoughts and our will, because it needs to work together. We need to have the will to change or to have that job, and you can do it through visualizing what you want, and you can start creating this environment. And you can do it mentally. You can do like visualization, meditation, but we can also start focusing on what you want. You can start looking for what you want and make a plan. And the more you focus on that, the more you'll be able to start in this reality you want for yourself. So this is all here. It's a mental process, but it's also something that needs to come from inside for your will. You need to have this will, because if you just like think, but we don't feel it, you don't have this will, it probably it won't work. But this is a process. It's mind and heart, like, and this will has to be there as well.
Okay, thank you. Charles, Silvia, do you have any? Okay.
Sorry, no, so far no question on my side.
Okay, go ahead, my friend.
Oh, okay. So yes, I think we have said like all these feelings we can change, but we can, through our thoughts, we can start making the change. We can start when we practice being the present moment. We don't being judgmental about what we are feeling or the thoughts and everything. We starting like we start practicing to receive, acknowledging and letting go what we don't need. So, but this is through practicing. The more we practice, the more we're gonna be able to create these new pathways in our brain that, and it changing this the way we behave, because I think it's like we behave more in a pilot mode, and when we starting having this connection with ourselves, we start to being in, not just reacting to things. We start to respond. We start to have this ability to just having the things and to think with a wise mind, having the balance to receive everything, but not take everything. We just find this wise way to deal with all the situations.
Yeah, another observation here. We know that meditation, yoga, all these type of things, it's good for us, definitely. But having a faith, I'm not just saying faith in terms of religion. No, because when we think about religion, it's connected to faith. But when I have a faith, I trust myself. I trust in my gut feeling. I trust in my mentors. I trust in divinity, and I use this. Will this help me to move forward or not?
Yes. The faith is something. Is like I was saying about this will. I think it's not about this faith. Like it's what will motivate us to move on, to search for something higher. So when we have this faith, this is what will give us the motivation to move on, to try. Sometimes we even we like you said, we are not connecting to a religion, but we all have this faith inside ourselves. It's just a thing of assessing this, and once we assess this faith, we can cure anything. We can just do whatever you want, like, of course, like to become better.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. I think Silvia has a question.
Yeah.
Actually, it is a question. You said, if we use a will, a desire to change, we can do it. Considering sometimes that a person may be involved in a very deep problem, something that is ongoing, and how can they move their thoughts or change? Because it depends on the situation that the person is. They become almost see themselves as a prison. We cannot move forward unless we clear all the unfinished business behind us. It wouldn't, it's just because then you can try to ignore it. I think how can we, you would suggest for a person who's in that situation, how can they try to solve their problems before they can move forward? Because if we, especially in certain circumstances, it's almost impossible. You can't see the forest for the trees. You know that expression? You can see solution. So you cannot move forward, with unfinished business hanging behind you. So what you suggest in that situation for a patient or someone that is working with you?
Is the forgiveness. So the forgiveness is something also that is being proved scientifically, that when we open to ourselves and forgive, but the only way is forgiving our past and having this, practicing this way to be present in the moment. And we're gonna be able, like this is a process of the person needs to want to, before we change, we need to accept. So then we work the acceptance. Once the person accepts that what he or she needs to change, she wants to accept the situation, and then she will have the will, and then she will start to move on to the steps for changing. And this is all about opening for help and accepting the situation.
Okay. Yeah.
Sorry, I think this that you said is really true, and it's absolutely part of the process. But what I'm more concerned with is someone that is in a situation that they cannot, they're living through that. Say, for instance, an abusive relationship, the family, a domestic violence, or all sorts of things, or mental abuse, and that the person becomes feels so small, so diminished. And especially in the abusive situations, when they become more and more, they almost don't have any sense of self-worth. In that situation, to ask someone who's still living through that to forgive, I think is a step too far. First of all, they need to clear and finish that situation, take a decision to change that. And we need to give them support to allow them to do, because to ask someone who's going through that situation to forgive, it's almost like putting another burden on their own pain. I find it,
Yeah, it's like about working all these self-knowledge, having this accept. They will learn how to accept the situation, and then of course having this, working all these is individual. It's very individual for each person. Then we see what they need to work is, if it's to have this self-love, learn to love themselves first, then accept, and then forgive. But it's a process, and it will depend in each other. But we can work all these steps for them to get there, but it depends. Depends on the situation and on the individual.
Yeah, okay. I'm thinking about the freedom that we achieve when we forgive. We take heavily questions and things from our shoulders.
Yeah.
Freedom of thoughts. After, forgive people here, forgive there. Otherwise, we are attached, and
to all these emotions, all this.
Yeah. So emotion there and there because something in the past made this and made that for me, against, etc. Freedom. You don't need this kind of things in your life. You can connect, as the video shows, connected to the Almighty Father or your spiritual guide or your Asher, whatever you have your beliefs, your faith, and you have freedom. We are living a world that we are attached to material things, attached to other people's thoughts, other people's feelings, other people doing things against us. Be free from that. Freedom. You can breathe without being attached with mental bad thoughts against other people that is against you. Because once you are putting bad thoughts from others in yourself, you are be fully with bad influences, and you need freedom. We need freedom in our life to be free from that. Forgiveness, make compassion, And understanding.
Self-compassion. Yeah, all this.
Self-compassion. Yes, good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we do have here a comment from Marina Stiegel, and she says, Young said people with some faith were more receptive to treatment.
Exactly. Yeah, it's different. Some people, they will just open to, like I said, this faith, we all have it, independent from if you believe or not. We have it inside ourselves. And but when you are have a little bit more of connection, it's easier for us to open for the treatment. And when you open a little bit, you start accepting all the situation, accepting what we like I said, we need to look inside the problem, the pain. And then when we start in doing this process, you're going to be able to understand that what Elsa said, like if you forgive, and it's kind of something, if the person opens, it's easy. It's not difficult to to things to her to start having all this process of letting go of, and the only way to let go is having this forgiveness of the past, and having this self-compassion, and things will start changing. But this is very individual, but it's how we try to help, especially people with emotional problems. And in the when we talk about emotional problems, the meditation is a main treatment for them, apart from the medication and everything. But the mindfulness is something that is the main treatment from when we are doing the psychotherapy with them. So, but it's really will depends how the people will accept.
Good. And we have a question here from João Paulo Donofrio. I don't know if you have already discussed that, but do you know how this mental change can impact our spirit?
Yeah, it can impact a lot, because when we starting changing this thoughts, these patterns, we starting have this connection with ourselves, because we are opening to listen to our true spirit. And this will open also to us to connect with the good spirits as well. And this will, like, the more we change this state of mind, the more we become more closer to our natural state, to our essence. And I think it's make the big difference on how we behave.
Okay, Ms. Gibbons.
Okay. I think going back, I'm sorry to be a bit of a, but just going back a bit, what Elsa said, the freedom to choose, the freedom to forgive, is already things that we have already advanced to a point in which we have choice. I was more concerned what kind of support we would give to someone who comes to either as a patient, one of our patients, or someone who comes for an assistant that is in the middle of a situation. Because actually, someone reminded me quite recently about something that Bishop Tutu said about forgiveness. He said, it's very easy for us to talk about forgiveness when we are sitting in freedom, in that we have freedom of choice, we can, have a life. But the question of forgiveness is the one of Jesus, that being in the cross, crucified, was able to forgive. And I think it changes a bit the idea of asking people to forgive. I personally never do. I try to ask people to let them say what they feel, because to ask someone, you needed to forgive to free yourself, even though we know, has been proved, that forgiveness is the greatest part of healing. But I think we also needed to honor people's pain and the difficulties they're going through, and giving them the support they need for them to reach the point in which they can find either, I can forgive that because I've been through. But I think to ask someone who's going through the most difficult situation, unable to move on, or in great pain and in suffering, to start forgiving, to give them some kind of a very high level of spirituality when their feet are still attached to the mud. I find it demanding things on people. I think we need to learn to give them some support and to listen to their pain first before we ask them to go into high level spirituality and forgiveness. I don't know if
no, yeah, of
makes
course,
sense.
yes. Like it's all about validating their feelings, their emotions. I'm not saying that we just say like we have to forgive, and no, it's like it's a process, a way to get there. But of course, first we have to validate their feelings, their emotions. We need to give space for them, and when they are ready, of course, we will start working on this. But yes, it's listening, giving support. But part of the treatment is all. This is what we are talking about, like. But this it's part of the process. Before we get there, of course, we will have this respect their time and give them this support, listening to them. But when we start to working, for example, mindfulness with them, we are starting showing them, look, through this we can access all these all these tools that we can start working on to move on. But it's all on the time. It's not like we are not just saying that you have to do that and that's it. No, but it's kind of helping them to access all this, all the tools that they have, that they can understand to.
Yeah. Also, we do have a question here which kind of complements this answer. And the question is from Paula Mello, and she's saying, I agree with you all. However, how can we forgive if the situation is still going on? We need to forgive every day. Any more specific advice? Thank you.
If the situation is still on. Yeah, it's like I say, it's a process. Probably you have to give some time for yourself to acknowledge it, to look for the situation, accept why is this situation is still on, and then you're gonna start working for trying to forgive. It's not like a saying. It's really something. It's a process. We need to be also have the self-compassion to be kind to ourselves and give us the time we need, and then we will find this the how to forgive.
Yeah. And also we have another question here from Munir, and he says, some people usually say to forgive and forget. We may be able to forgive, but can we truly forget?
No, probably not. But yeah, but you can forgive, but it's not necessary that you have to love the person, to be with the person, see the person. No, it needs, if you're able to forgive, let go of these emotions, you will not be attached to this anymore, and this will not affect your well-being. But it's not necessary that you're gonna forget it. But you know that you forgive when you don't feel anything, when you don't have any feelings about the situation anymore. But you can still remember, you can still have that in mind.
Okay. So we have a comment here from Carlos Felipe. Hi, everyone. Fernanda, you are very knowledgeable. Redemption is the first step of understanding Christianity. Forgiving the past is the key, but this forgiving needs to come from a rational understanding of where these problems come from. No one is born to do bad. The world itself seems to corrupt our moral values. Society is in development everywhere around the globe. Even about big traumas in the childhood, like any sort of violence, this needs to be understood in a rational way.
Yeah, it's like I said, we need to look for the problem, the situation, accept the situation, find this wise mind, because most of the time with the situations we look for, or you tend to look only for our emotional mind or our rational mind. We need to, look, trying to find this middle way and understanding the situation. What is causing? When we accept and look for it and understand, then we will be able to forgive.
And now the last question, because our time is nearly finishing. A question for Guilherme Diaz. When he was on the cross, Jesus said, Father, forgive them as they do not know what they do. Can we forgive, or this is something that we need to seek from our Father?
So, Father, forgive them as they do not. Can we forgive something that we need to seek from our Father?
I think the question is more like, we do have the power, the ability to forgive, or just the Father is the one who is able to forgive?
We do have this, I think. We all have this. Otherwise, it wouldn't make sense. I think we all have this. this power to.
So I can, if I may add something, I think when people is not easy to forgive others, is because the pride, selfishness, and lack of humbleness or humility. Because we that.
I agree with you, Fernanda. I think we do have within us the ability to forgive, but I think sometimes we need help from the Father to strengthen our courage to be able to forgive. And I think it's not to do so much with pride. It depends on what the person's been through. It's not sometimes pride. Sometimes it's something much deeper. The hurt is so hard, so strong that the person, to be able to forgive, they have to take quite a lot out of themselves. So I think in that you have the help of the Father, Jesus and our Father who are out in heaven, to be able to fulfill that and to let go, not maybe even forgive, but to let go of the hurt, isn't it? That is the first step.
Go ahead.
Well, no, you can go ahead.
No, I was just saying, when he was the cross and said, Father, forgive him, it's not because he was not able to forgive. He's already forgave. It was just it's more a kind of conversation. Hey, please, they don't know what they're doing. Let it go. It's not something, hey, I cannot forgive and I need to ask your permission to forgive.
Yeah. I think you're right. Jesus had already forgiven, but that it was his giving us a lesson, wasn't it? To say, I forgive, they do not know what they do. I think it was just a lesson that Jesus was saying on the cross so that we could learn it.
Yeah. Okay, my dear friends, it's time. Thank you, Fernanda.
Charles so quiet today.
Yeah.
Yes, sure. I mean, look, I'm an engineer, so I'm not from psychology or things like that. So for me, I cannot intervene. I would say in much more in details. But the view of the engineer is how to say. We have a phase, as it was told. Jung told that phase is helping in coping with illnesses and so on, or difficult situations. But this phase is even rational. So it's not a phase. It's personally, I'm sure that I have a soul, that this soul existed before this incarnation, that it will survive to the dead. I know that this soul, there is a lot of souls around us that influence us every time, as Fernanda told at the beginning. We have the relationship amongst souls. We cannot gamble and say, we will escape, it will be forgotten, or we will escape from the justice or whatever. This does not work in this spiritual world. So for me, the reasoning is very simple. There is no other solution than to forgive. So what? Let's go and do it. And then we see also the potential, the huge potential we have in this spiritual dimension. We are not limited to our physical body in the 4 dimensions, 3 for space, 1 for time. We have other dimensions, spiritual ones, with a huge potential. And the will, which has been commented as well, is the biggest lever to make use of this huge potential that we have, and then to progress, and through all this, to control our emotions. We see the things much differently. We see the things with distance. Everything is relative. All what is here on the earth is temporary. Even the worst pain, the worst problem, the worst difficulty, we know that it will have an end. That in the spiritual world, the vision is completely different. So we take all these things in a much different, rational way again, and this helps us a lot to control our emotions. I mean, this is my view, how to say, as a kind of an engineering view rather than a psychological view. But okay, it was just a small remark to complement all this good things that you have all told.
Yeah.
Yeah, really good,
Yeah.
Charles.
And we have a good comment here from Maria Eugênio. I think forgetting only comes with memory loss, but forgiveness is a process that starts with the decision to release yourself from a person, situation, feeling that you recognized as not good.
Yeah, this is what I was saying. It's a process. It's like you starting getting to know yourself, and then you will start. It's not. It's like I want to forgive and I will forgive. No, it's a process, and it can take longer or not. Depends on the individual. And it's like Charles said, we have to get this rational. I think it's kind of having the rational, looking the emotional, but and understand why we are having this emotional problem or this, and then trying to find the solution, which is forgiveness is the solution. So I think is the way we find this but the middle.
I would even add to your answer, Fernanda, that the next step is even to have compassion, because this person which is recognized as not good is like the one Jesus commented when he was on the cross. He doesn't know what he's doing. And it's a brother in humanity which will also progress. So we can turn into compassion, which is the next step after the forgiveness.
Exactly.
It's basically his problem, not ours. And we are here to help him to progress and to come out of this not good recognition.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go to our just now 2 announcements here. So, and then we come up to our ending here. So let's see. So if you don't have had it already done, but you need to do it, go to Buzz website and seek for the newsletter number 74, in which you have a briefing about what happened in the 8th British Congress of Medicine on the Medicine and Spirituality. And then you have more contents, and we can see more contents about Leon Denis and all this information that Buzz produce every 3 months for us in this newsletter. Also, this Saturday at 4 o'clock London time, we will have an amazing talk given by our dear friend Dana Sisi. He will comment the book The Big Enigma from Leon Denis. So I invite everyone to join. It's a streaming from our Facebook with the help of Kardec Group, Buzz, Irish Spiritist Federation, and of course Kardec Radio. So 4 o'clock this Saturday. Don't miss this amazing talk, amazing comments and lessons, because Dan is a very sharp and wise person who always help us to put our mind in a correct way. And that's it from us today. Thank you very much, Fernanda. It's nice talk, very important topic. We needed to learn how know ourselves.
Yeah.
We need that.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. Thank you, everyone.
Okay. So thank you. Merci, Charles. Thank
Merci
you,
beaucoup.
Silvia.
Thank you. Good night. Have a good evening.
Thank
good
you
week.
all. Join us, Fernanda. Thank you very much. I'll see you next Wednesday. Thank you. Bye bye, guys.
Okay,
Bye-bye.
bye. Night night.
Bye, Solomon.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.